Hello and welcome to... Ow! Oh! Ah! Ow! 6 of the best. A quick trip around some of Scunthorpe and surrounding areas, most outstanding features and places of interest. Enjoy. This is Kingsway Local Nature Reserve. Unless you're not local, in which case it's Kingsway Nature Reserve. From 1971 until 2017, this was the site of Kingsway Municipal Golf Course. Opened in 1971 by none other than Scunthorpe's very own world-famous Tony Jacklin. Originally a 9-hole course, it boasted 2 of the world's hardest golf holes. Yeah. The first you see here looks pretty straightforward, but put yourself on that tee, hungover, Sunday morning, with limited golfing ability, and with anything up to, say, 100 people behind you, all wishing you the worst. You were glad, firstly, just to hit the ball, and secondly, anywhere that was deemed to be in a forward direction. It was nerve-wracking. This is the 7th hole, or the card wrecker. The trees you see in front they're a tad more mature than whence they were, but there they were. You were surrounded in all directions by wood, unless you had the ability to hit a ball in the direction, say, that you were aiming. Measuring a mere 126 yards. The elevated green was protected on all sides by deep bunkers. Yeah. Now, if you walked off the 7th at Kingsway, you were one of 2 things. 1, very lucky, or 2, a liar. Yeah. Now me, I was very lucky on most occasions because I was brilliant at golf. But the same, sadly, couldn't be said for my mate Ian Hill, who, let's say, was a compulsive liar. Oh yeah, and habitual cheat. And still is to this day, to his credit, and with a multitude of trophies to his name, all of which are debatable at best. Chinner, you're a cheat, and you know it. Since its closure as a golf course in 2017 and the subsequent opening as a nature reserve, Kingsway has become a haven for wildlife and an ecosystem of flourishing fauna and fungi. It's a dog walker's paradise, or just simply a great space to be. Kingsway Local Nature Reserve. This is the Church of the Holy Spirit on the Ridings estate, or, if you're fortunate enough to be from Scunthorpe, the Riddings estate. Built in 1961 by architect Derek Brown, the church is not orientated in the usual manner, and the altar is close to the pointed end of the church. The steel spire reflects the contribution of Scunthorpe's steel industry to the building of its church. And the blue spire is a landmark that can be seen for miles and a credit to the once great and proud Scunthorpe British Steel. The Church of the Holy Spirit on the Ridings estate. It's Riddings. Welcome to Twigmore Woods, a wonderful mature woodland walk by day, and location for questionable, sordid sex acts by night, apparently. Originally a rabbit warren to provide subsistence during the medieval period, the woodland as we know it today was planted in the 1830s. Now, Twigmore features a mixture of woodland and wetland habitats rich in wildlife. The site is managed as a joint venture between North Links Council and the landowner, the Scunthorpe Estate. The woods are rich in many species of tree and wildflowers, in particular the rhododendrons, some of which are very rare, and were mainly planted between 1885 and 1900, and they provide a stunning display. Twigmore's wildlife is plentiful, particularly birds. These include the nuthatch, the green and the greater spotted woodpeckers, kestrels, owls, jays, and tree creepers. What the hell are they? But the jewel in Twigmore's verdant crown is Gull Ponds, a vast expanse of waterways that give home and shelter to many of the UK's birds that are, say, of an aquatic abode in nature. Twigmore Woods is one of Scunthonians, and indeed my most favoured of rambles. You never know, I might see you there. In the daytime, obviously, you weirdos. Okay, it's 8:00. This is the Berkeley Hotel. Yeah, you heard me right. The Berkeley, not the Barclay. Why? I'll tell you why. Because it contains 3 of the letter E and not 1 of the letter A's within its name. Plus, it sits majestically proud on Berkeley Circle. Okay? So that's that. Sorted. Particularly you, John Henderson. Berkeley, not Barclay. Anyway, it was named in honour of local landowner and silver spoon-fed member of the aristocracy, Lord Berkeley Sheffield, whose family, like Lord Sheffield, still continue to rinse the area to this day. Yeah, makes you proud to be British. Anyway, moving on. It is a Grade 2 listed public house and hotel. It was built in 1940 and is listed on the Campaign for Real Ale's National Inventory as Historic Pub Interiors. Yeah. It was granted Grade 2 in 2015 by Historic England. The Berkeley is part of the Sam Smith's Tadcaster-based breweries nationwide network, which is now headed by the renowned character of note, Humphrey Smith. With its cherished fine authentic period interiors, the Berkeley has been a mainstay of Scunthorpe's revelry for nearly a century now. And in this day of gimmicky and distractions that most pubs bombard you with, the Berkeley, with its blanket ban on digital devices of any kind, I have to say, is a welcome retreat for those of us who remember a simpler time and just want a pint of proper, honest ale at an acceptable price. Praise the Berkeley and hail the ale. Although, it has to be said, if you are going to have a session on the organic lager, get a taxi and put a plastic sheet on the bed. Okay, we literally go over to what has to be one of our region's oldest surviving structures. This is the King George V Bridge that crosses the River Trent near Althorpe and Kidby in Lincolnshire. It was designed by Alfred Charles Gardner. The Scherzer Rolling Lift Bridge carries both road and rail traffic across the River Trent. It was built between 1912 and 1916 by the Great Central Railway. It carries a double-track railway line on the southern side and the two-lane single carriageway A18 road on the north side. The first passenger train to cross the new bridge left Althorpe Station on the 21st of May 1916. It is 50 metres in length, and for your normal folks, that's 163 feet. It has electricity-powered bascule. Good word. Basically means lifting span. And it was one of the first of its type in Britain, and when built was the largest in Europe. Massive! It had 3 main spans and 2 approach spans. The eastern main span was the one that lifted. The Scherzer bascule rolled and rotated on counterbalance. Of course it did. Otherwise it wouldn't work, would it? It was electrically powered originally by a large storage battery fed by a petrol-driven generator housed in the engine room beneath the east approach, which was later modified to mains electricity. The bridge has not been lifted since 1956, which is a bit weird because I seem to think I can remember it, but I was born in '68, so clearly I dreamt it. In 1960 it was widened and the headroom increased as the bascule was fixed in position. At the same time, the signal cabin was removed from the bridge structure and the tracks on the railway were fixed in place. All in all, a magnificent piece of engineering that's clearly stood the test of time. Although, if you're driving, the bend at the end can be a tad tricky if, say, a lorry is coming head on. Or a female driver. The King George V Bridge. Magnificent. And finally, let's take a trip to the splendour that is Alkborough Flats. Now, Alkborough Flats is a haven for bird watchers and nature enthusiasts alike. Visitors can spot marsh harriers, spoonbills, and large flocks of wintering waterfowl such as teal, the widgeon, that's a thing, and golden plovers, and even bearded tits. The bird, that is, and not the twitchers, although some clearly do sport unkempt excess facial hair and probably live alone in a bedsit. The area also supports mammals like otters, water voles, wild deer and brown hares, making it a rich and diverse ecosystem. The Flats is well equipped for public access with footpaths and bird hides, including my personal favourite, the Tower. During the Second World War, Alkborough Flats was home to a bombing range, and there are still remnants of World War II structures to be found if you care to look. Covering miles and miles of open wilderness, the Flats is a wonderful space to escape to. And it's flat, well, apart from the bit that's uphill. But Alkborough Flats is just superb.